This is Michael Popok. It's After Dark. Do you know where your legal AF is? Speaking of losing things in the dark, Alina Habba, the lawyer for Donald Trump, I guess that's what she is about to lose her law license at the rate she's going. Why? Because she just settled confidentially and secretly, but we know about it now, a case involving a person who she represented when she also represented Donald Trump at the same time. This former server who worked at the Bedminster golf course believed, as alleged in the complaint, that Alina Habba was her lawyer when Alina Habba was working for Donald Trump all along. To paraphrase Godfather, it was Barzini all along. And a judge in New Jersey is very interested to find out what Alina Habba said and when she said it and how that backs up on her New Jersey bar license. We break it all down for you, just like that, on Legal AF. Take a listen.
Michael Popok, where we last left off, I was showing those clips of Alina Habba, but she got into some big trouble in Bedminster. I think it is a sign of more things to come for her. I mean, she got out of this one, entered into a secret settlement, but in my opinion, this is going to be the kind of the tip of the iceberg over the next several years, if and when Donald Trump loses for the Alina Habba story, which we'll be covering here. Tell us about the secret settlement. What do we know about it?
Yeah, this was case number one. It's hard to believe that Alina Habba's only been in the public eye with Donald Trump since 2021. It seems so much longer than that. It's like when you're in the dentist chair for root canal and it won't ever end. So Alina Habba's only been around that long. This was her first case that she ever handled for Donald Trump, her first matter she ever handled for Donald Trump, that combined with something that she handled relating to an apprentice contestant, Summer Zervos, who sued Donald Trump for sex harassment, and she got that case dismissed or settled. And that was enough to launch her career with Donald Trump. She is single-handedly responsible for more civil and criminal case losses for Donald Trump than any other attorney in American history. I mean, I can say that safely. She was the lawyer for every major criminal case until she was replaced. She was the lawyer for all the losses, including at the start of the Attorney General case. She was the lawyer for Donald Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case, in both of them, until she got sidelined and kicked upstairs as whatever she is, a floating head spokesperson. Case number one that put her on the map, because she started as, I'm not making this up, folks, a parking garage lawyer representing parking lots. She's not a litigator. She practiced what you and I sometimes refer to as door law, which means you do anything that comes in the door. And she did that in a little tiny office in Bedminster, New Jersey, right off of where the golf course was. And she was a member of the club, the Bedminster golf course that Trump owns. And she was dying to find a way to get into his inner circle and get noticed and to get hired by him. And she had her opportunity with Alice Bianco. Alice Bianco was a 21-year-old server at Bedminster who was horribly, along with others there, horribly sexually abused in a sexually hostile work environment by a food and beverage manager, making the club and therefore Donald Trump responsible for his actions. Alina Habba found out about it. How did she find out about it? She found out about it from Donald Trump. And she decided to, through false pretenses, this is all in the lawsuit that was filed in New Jersey Superior Court in front of Judge Ray. She, according to the allegations of the lawsuit, Alina Habba groomed, those are the words from the complaint, Alice Bianco to make her believe that she was her best friend, that not her lawyer, but her best friend, a person she could count on for advice. They met at her law office. She had Alice Bianco fire her then existing lawyer, leaving her defenseless, leaving her without any counsel at all, as she was basically negotiating with Donald Trump's lawyer or wannabe lawyer in the form of Alina Habba. Alina Habba wanted to desperately deliver this settlement and this resolution to Donald Trump in order for him to curry favor with him and to get on his legal team. And that's what happened, except she forced Alice Bianco, according to the complaint, to settle at a lowball number. She took $15,000 to settle, probably many multiples less than she was entitled to. She fired her other lawyers. She settled with Alina Habba. She believed Alina Habba was her lawyer in violation of a series of bar rules in every state, including in New Jersey. So for those that are thinking, isn't this unethical that you act like you're the lawyer for the plaintiff when you're really working for the defendant? Yes, that's called, you have to have candor to your client and to the tribunal. You're not allowed to do that and to defraud your client. And then Alice Bianco knew she was had when she tried to get some further advice from Alina Habba about the tax consequences of the payment. And she said, well, I don't represent you. I have a conflict. I can't represent you, meaning I represent Trump. And Alice said, what are you talking about? You've always represented me. We met in the parking lot in our gym clothes. We talked about the case all again in the complaint. This was so concerning to Judge Ray, the judge in New Jersey, and you and I reported on this back in December, that in handwriting at the bottom of his order about the case, he wrote, if I get credible evidence that Alina Habba, or a lawyer in this case, has committed these ethical violations that are alleged in the complaint, I'm making a referral to the bar in New Jersey. Alina Habba also got thrown under the bus in the same case by the Trump organization because they, in the filing and settling their case, because they settled, but when they settled, Trump settled, he didn't get a release. He didn't protect Alina Habba. One, the plaintiffs didn't want to do that. They wanted to continue to go after Alina Habba. And two, Trump didn't want to pay enough in order to protect his, whatever she is, girlfriend, lawyer, whatever she's supposed to be. So he got out of the case, but he left Alina Habba high and dry. And in the case, and they took the position, the Trump people, the Bedminster people took the position that whatever that woman said, Alina Habba, we're not bound by that. We're not vicariously liable for that. That's the concept in the law. She's not an agent of ours. I don't know what she was doing. So Alina Habba was thrown under the bus. And of course, the judge was just sitting there going, go on, tell me more. So she had to settle this case. So now there's a settlement about what effectively is the first hush money case that Alina Habba handled, right? Not the first one for Donald Trump, but the first one for Alina Habba, which was her launching pad to get into the orbit of Donald Trump. It's also going to be her undoing. You showed a clip earlier about her bragging on some friendly debate stage or friendly stage where she was strutting the stage like she was in some sort of weirdo TED Talk in which she was bragging about a federal judge. I don't care who appointed him. A federal judge in Florida, Judge Middlebrooks, after sitting around and looking at this BS lawsuit for a year, in which Donald Trump sued Hillary Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, and everybody else, John Podesta, and everybody else you could think of, including Congress people, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And the judge said this was a political screed and rant and vendetta and hit list masquerading as a lawsuit. And I'm going to sanction you for over $1 million for under the various rules and powers of a federal judge for a meritless bad faith filing. That, in our world, is a really bad thing that she's going to have to disclose on her this is Alina Habba, on her malpractice application for insurance, if she can get it, if she ever applies for admission to any other bar or in any court. She never, let me just make this last point. Alina Habba was a who never was a effective or successful trial lawyer or litigator. Like I said, she did small time law in this office and defrauding Alice Bianco to settle a sex harassment case should not have put her in the lead chair to try some of the most important criminal and civil matters for Donald Trump. And yet it did. It shows you the lack of judgment and character by Donald Trump, that this is who he has in his inner circle. She settled the case, but she can't settle the ethics charge. And now I'm sure you and I'm going to keep an eye on it. Judge Ray is going to make that referral. When the media contacted the New Jersey bar and the grievance committee and said, do you have an active open file against Alina Habba? They said what they always say: we cannot comment on any active investigation we may or may not be conducting. Read that to mean they have opened up an active investigation against Alina Habba, and I think she holds 2 bar licenses from what I can see, New Jersey and New York. If she loses her New Jersey license or it gets suspended or reprimanded, she will also have a problem with her New York license, which I think is why she's slowly been trying to move over and get out of the world of being a lawyer and just be whatever she is for Donald Trump.
And then we're going to hear her whine and say, oh, they're coming after me. All of the liberal New Jersey leaders, even though I said New Jersey's actually a red state for the past year, all the liberal New Jersey people, the state bar is weaponized against me because I allegedly groomed this client or pretended this person was a client of mine and engaged in the most unethical, egregious behavior where, frankly, any other lawyer would have been disbarred already. Let's be clear. Like, if that conduct existed with any other lawyer, they would have their license suspended 6 months ago. So they get passes, and then they're going to whine about it.
Welcome back. That's a podcast we founded 4 years ago or more. We sit at the intersection of law and politics so you don't have to. Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this YouTube channel. You can watch us live record, and you can chat with the anchors. How exciting. Or you can pick us up on audio podcast platforms of your choice. Find out what 40 million people every month already know, that Legal AF, there it is above the lower third, that Legal AF is the home for law and politics commentary and analysis like no other on YouTube. I defy you to find a better product on YouTube about law and politics than Legal AF. That's my challenge. So if you know everything you need to know about Legal AF, you're already part of our audience and you've grown with us organically to reach over 3 million people on the MeidasTouch network. We thank you for being part of our audience. But send that clip off to friends and family in your life. It helps us grow. Word of mouth. We don't have a marketing department. You and I are the marketing department. Send it off to them and ask them to join our show. If you don't know anything about Legal AF, and that was your first taste of it, this is Michael Popok, and I'm making a personal invitation to you to join us on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our Legal AF podcast, full-length, 1-hour podcast, and then on wherever you pick up your audio podcast from. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.